The morning air of Seoul was crisp, carrying the scent of roasted chestnuts from a street vendor nearby. Amina tightened the strap of her worn leather bag and hurried down the busy street. Today was important, her interview at Han Global Corporation, the company she had dreamed of working for ever since she first stepped foot in Korea. Her heels clicked against the pavement, but she slowed when she saw him, an old Korean man at the edge of the crosswalk. His cane trembled in his hand as waves of cars rushed past. His eyes darted nervously, and though people streamed around him, not one stopped. Amina hesitated only for a moment before stepping toward him. "Ajushi," she said softly, switching to careful Korean. "Can I help you?" The old man looked up, surprised. "This road, too many cars. My legs are not what they used to be." Amina smiled, her dimples deepening. "Then let's cross together." She held his arm gently, steadying his steps as they moved across the road. When they reached the other side, she gave him a reassuring nod. "Take care, Ajushi," she said warmly. "The world still needs you strong." And with that, she hurried away, unaware that she had just changed the course of her life. By the time Amina arrived at Han Global's towering glass building, her palms were damp with nerves. She checked her reflection in the lobby mirror. Dark skin glowing under the light, her braided hair neatly tied back. "You can do this," she whispered to herself. Inside the interview room, a panel of stern executives sat waiting. At the head of the table was, her breath caught, the old man from the street. Her heart thumped wildly as their eyes met. The executives shifted, whispering respectfully. This was Han Jun-sik, chairman of Han Global, the most powerful man in the company. "Miss Amina," one of the board members began, "please present your resume." "Wait," Chairman Han interrupted, raising a hand. His eyes never left Amina's face. "You helped me this morning, did you not?" Amina swallowed hard. I only helped someone who needed it." The room went still. Then, to everyone's shock, the chairman smiled. "In a world where people rush past each other, you chose kindness. That tells me more than any paper ever could. You're hired." The panel gasped. Amina blinked in disbelief. Hired? Just like that? On her first day at Han Global, Amina quickly realized her journey wouldn't be easy. Her coworkers watched her with narrowed eyes, their whispers sharp. "She only got in because of pity," one muttered in the break room. Or maybe, another lowered her voice, "because the chairman likes her." Amina forced herself to ignore them. She worked tirelessly, staying late to double-check files, learning Korean corporate etiquette, and proving herself through dedication. Still, the rumors followed her like shadows. One evening, as she left the office, she found Chairman Han waiting by the lobby doors. His chauffeur stood nearby, but the chairman approached her directly. "Miss Amina," he said gently, "may I give you a ride home?" Her instinct was to refuse, but something in his tone, a quiet kindness, made her nod. Inside the sleek car, silence hung between them until he finally asked, "Why do you work so hard, even when others look down on you?" Amina clasped her hands in her lap. "Because if I give up, then I'll have nothing. But if I keep trying, I still have hope." Chairman Han stared at her, his chest tightening. Hope. He had everything the world could offer, power, wealth, respect. But he hadn't felt hope in years. Weeks turned into months. Amina's diligence began to shine. She proposed ideas no one else dared to voice, and sometimes, Chairman Han would linger after meetings, his eyes resting on her with quiet admiration. One afternoon, he found her in the library corner of the company building, reading a thick finance book. "You study even after work?" he asked, amused. She looked up, startled. "Of course. I can't waste the opportunity you gave me." His lips curved slightly. "Most people I hire waste it in days." Their eyes met, and for a brief moment time seemed to pause. Ji-hai, a sharp-tongued senior employee, begins plotting to discredit Amina, believing she is bewitching the chairman. Mr. Park, the loyal assistant to the chairman, notices the growing bond and quietly supports it, reminding his boss that happiness has no age or race. Grace, Amina's childhood friend back in Africa, sends letters reminding her never to forget her roots, even as she rises higher in Korea. When tabloids catch wind of the chairman's closeness with a young foreign employee, headlines explode. Han Global CEO scandal. Chairman in affair with African girl? Investors panic, the board pressures him, and Amina, heartbroken by the storm, considers resigning. But Chairman Han takes her hand one evening, his voice trembling. If you walk away, I lose not just an employee, Amina. I lost the one person who reminded me to be human. Stay, and let me fight this with you. Amina was beginning to find her rhythm at Han Global, but whispers in the corridors still followed her. One afternoon in the staff cafeteria, she carried her tray to an empty table, only to overhear two colleagues behind her. She doesn't belong here. Ji-hai, a senior manager with sharp eyes, hissed. The chairman only favors her because of that sob story image. Look at her, eating alone like a charity case. Another employee snickered. Or maybe she's using her looks. Who knows what she does after hours? Amina froze, her spoon hovering above her bowl. Heat rushed to her cheeks, but she clenched her fists and sat down quietly. Don't let them break you, she reminded herself. You didn't come this far to crumble. Across the room, Mr. Park, the chairman's loyal assistant, observed silently. He had seen ambition twist many employees, but there was something different about Amina. Later, as she was leaving, he caught up with her. Miss Amina, he said in a low voice, don't let their jealousy discourage you. The chairman sees something in you, and so do I. Keep walking with your head high. His words were simple, but they gave her strength. That night, in her tiny rented room, Amina opened a letter from Grace, her childhood friend back in Africa. My sister, the letter read, I hear in your voice when you call that life is heavy, but remember our mothers raised us to be strong. Do not let their coldness freeze your heart. Even in a land far from home, you carry our warmth. Walk proudly. You are the daughter of giants. Amina pressed the letter to her chest, tears welling. Grace's words were like home wrapping around her, reminding her that she was more than the whispers in a foreign land. One late evening, Amina stayed back in the office to organize reports. Ji-hai walked in, her heels clicking against the marble floor. You think you're special, don't you? Ji-hai sneered, arms crossed. The chairman notices you, and now you walk around like you matter. Amina stood slowly, meeting her gaze. I don't think I'm special. I just work hard. Ji-hai's lips curled. Hard work isn't enough here. Connections are what matter. And you, her eyes scanned Amina from head to toe, will never truly belong in Korea. Remember that. Before Amina could reply, a voice cut sharply through the silence. Enough, Manager Ji-hai. They turned to see Chairman Han in the doorway, his eyes hard as steel. I value Miss Amina not because of who she is on the outside, but because of what she brings to this company. If anyone doubts that, they doubt my judgment. Ji-hai's face flushed crimson. She bowed stiffly and stormed out, humiliated. Amina's heart pounded. She turned to him. Chairman, you didn't have to. But he interrupted softly. I did, because you shouldn't have to fight alone. For the first time, Amina felt her defenses break. Tears threatened to fall, but she blinked them back. That weekend, Amina received a surprise phone call from her father back home. His deep, steady voice warmed her heart. My daughter, he said, we hear of your struggles, but also of your courage. Do not be ashamed of who you are. Even if the world sees you as small, you carry the strength of your ancestors. And remember this, love and respect are earned by truth, not by titles. She closed her eyes, letting his words settle deep inside her. She realized that whether in Africa or Korea, her worth was not determined by anyone's whispers, but by her heart and her work. In the weeks that followed, the bond between Amina and the chairman grew deeper. She often caught him watching her during meetings, his gaze softening when she spoke with quiet confidence. He began inviting her to lunch, sometimes even sharing simple meals in the company garden. Do you miss home? He asked one afternoon, as they sat beneath a cherry blossom tree. "Every day," she admitted. "But sometimes when I'm with you, I feel less far away." The chairman's chest tightened. He had spent decades surrounded by walls of power, but this young woman had torn them down with nothing but kindness and sincerity. And though the world might never understand, his heart already knew. He was falling in love. The more Chairman Han and Amina grew close, the louder the whispers became. Ji-hai, still bitter from her public embarrassment, began feeding gossip to a journalist friend. "The chairman dotes on her," she hissed over the phone. "A poor foreign girl with no background. Yet she walks around like she owns the place. Don't you think that's a story?" By the next week, tabloids screamed, "Han Global CEO in scandalous affair with young African employee. Is this love or manipulation?" Photos of Amina leaving the chairman's car filled the internet. On social media, the comments were cruel. "She's just using him for money. Why would he choose her? She must be after a visa." Amina sat frozen at her desk, her phone buzzing endlessly, her stomach twisted with shame. Around her, colleagues whispered openly now, their eyes sharp with judgment. That evening, Amina stormed into the garden where Chairman Han often took his evening tea. "Chairman," she said, her voice trembling, "this has gone too far. I can't let you suffer because of me. I'll resign tomorrow." Han Jun-sik looked at her, his eyes dark with something between anger and hurt. "You think walking away will protect me?" His voice was low but firm. "Amina, I've faced shareholders, politicians, and enemies more ruthless than this. Do you know what I haven't faced? Loneliness being lifted. And you did that for me." Tears blurred her vision. "But the world thinks I'm just using you." "Let them think what they want," he said softly, reaching across the table. His wrinkled hand covered hers with surprising warmth. "I know the truth, and that is enough." For the first time, Amina allowed herself to hold his hand back. The next morning, Mr. Park entered the chairman's office with a small smile. "Sir, not everyone believes the rumors. Some admire you for standing by her. And—" he hesitated, then looked at Amina, who was standing quietly by the window. "Miss Amina, my wife asked me to tell you. If you ever feel lonely, our home is open to you. She says you remind her of her daughter." Amina's eyes widened. Her throat tightened. Thank you so much." Later that evening, she opened another letter from Grace back home. "Do not let shame steal your happiness. The world will always talk, but love is not built for the world. It is built for two hearts. If he truly stands with you, then stand with him too." Her father also called, his voice steady. "Daughter, we raised you to walk with dignity. Do not bow your head to lies. If this man respects you, then you already have more than many women with riches." The weight in her chest lifted a little. At the next board meeting, the tension was suffocating. A group of shareholders demanded answers. "Chairman Han," one barked, "your reputation is tied to this company. This relationship is damaging us. We cannot afford scandal. Either dismiss the girl or risk everything." The room grew still. Amina sat in the back, her hands clenched, ready for the blow. But Chairman Han rose slowly, his voice calm but powerful. "You think this company was built on reputation? It was built on hard work, vision, and truth. Amina embodies those values more than anyone here. If you believe dismissing her will save us, then you have already lost sight of what Han Global stands for." The room went silent. For the first time, Amina realized he wasn't just protecting her. He was choosing her. That night, he found her sitting alone on the rooftop of the company building, the city lights glittering below. "You should be angry with me," she whispered. "Because of me, your empire is shaking." He walked closer, his step steady. "Empires can shake. But love is the only thing worth holding on to when everything else falls." Amina looked at him, tears spilling freely now. "Why me? Out of everyone, why me?" He cupped her face gently, his old hands trembling slightly but sure. "Because you see me. Not the CEO, not the chairman, not the rich man. Just me. And that is worth more than the whole world. In that moment, the storm around them no longer mattered. What mattered was the fragile, stubborn flame of love, burning against all odds. Jihai's bitterness festered like poison. The scandal hadn't destroyed Amina, and worse, the chairman's open defense had made her even more visible. No one humiliates me and survives, Jihai muttered one night, glaring at Amina's photo on the company bulletin board. She devised a plan. Using her connections, she leaked confidential company files to competitors, then planted evidence pointing to Amina. The next morning, chaos erupted. Security stormed Amina's desk, demanding her laptop. "You're under investigation for corporate espionage," they barked. Amina's face was drained of color. "What? No, I'd never." But whispers spread like wildfire. She betrayed the company. The foreign girl was only here to destroy us. Episode 1 ends here. The next episode comes up soon. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the story, please leave a comment. Also share and subscribe to my channel and click on the notification icon so that you will get notified whenever a new story is uploaded.